Welcome back, viewers. My name is Jonas Simba, and this is the Treasures of Life show right here on Science TV, your inclusion platform. 0111980384 is the line that you can get in touch with me on. And my sign language interpreter today is Wanjang Ngete. Get that name? Youth and strength. Youth and strength is our topic today. Already I've gotten a feedback from one of you. You're saying nothing for us without us. Let me explain something here before I get into trouble with many of the youths that are watching me right now. You know, the youth are asking this question, nothing for us without us. Immediately I finished this first section, I got a feedback. Why is it that, Jonah, you're telling us we need leadership, we need brains? Why not us? In fact, the word that is being passed around is nothing for the youth without the youth themselves. It is well said. But as I build on this topic on youth and strength, actually we are just having a chat today with you young people and with the leaders of the youth. Yes, with everybody, with parents. Whoever is listening qualifies to be an audience today. Much as the youth can be their own leaders, much as the youth can lead themselves, one thing is for sure. All of us are born somewhere. True, all of us are born somewhere. One day you were born. It is the responsibility of whoever brought you to this earth to give you guidance. True. Without your mother, without your father, you would never have grown to be who you are today. It takes your father and your mother. It takes your leader to invent solutions for you to go to school. It takes that person that is above you to guide the manner of knowledge that you get. Did you just hear what I said? The level of the brains that we have amongst our youth comes from the history of the governance that we had. It took the leaders of Kenya, Jomo Kenyatta, and several other leaders that started this nation of Kenya to invent an education system, to think about what form of education can we have. A deliberate focus was placed on education. There was a time when people sat and thought of a system, 7, 6, 3, then they came with 8, 4, 4. Then now they came with CBC. Then it changed to CBE. All these are education systems addressing the type of system that they need to adopt so that knowledge can come into our minds. Those are leaders. But then it took a father and a mother to go out there and look for school fees and the type of school to take you to. That is why you are a product of your leaderships. You are a product of your father and your mother. You are a product of your guardian. May there be wisdom amongst our leaderships, amongst our fathers and mothers, amongst our guardians, about the form of systems to adopt to empower our young people on knowledge. Right now, there is a lot of unemployment in the country, but there is a way in which we can come out of that trouble. There is something called working, and there is something called getting a job. It is time for us to be innovative enough. In fact, the leadership that sat after the 7, 6, and 3 in Kenya, and then the 8, 4, and 4, and then they came with the CBC, were trying to address the problem of how do we reduce the unemployment, they came up with an idea. It is from the talents of our youth that we are getting the new frontiers of work, job creation. Let us empower these people to come up with, jobs. Suddenly we start getting names like entrepreneurships. I'm a social entrepreneur. I'm in the business of improving lives of persons with disabilities, the youth, and different people in society, but in the process developing them and developing myself too. That is social entrepreneurship. There are people who are in business entrepreneurship, agricultural entrepreneurships, all forms of entrepreneurships, agribusiness, the tourism sector. Suddenly our kind of education is trying to find ways of reducing, the rates of unemployment. Let me put it this way. Our youth need to be strong enough. They are the brains. They need to tap on these leaderships that have tried to guide them with all genuine reasons. I would imagine fathers and mothers are very genuine. If you want to look for a genuine leader, look for your father and your mother. It is very rare. It happens, but it is very rare for a mother and a father to guide you wrongly. They are very genuine. And if you find cases of ingenuine guidance, those are very rare cases and they need help. But many of the fathers and mothers, when they innovate ways of taking us to school as the young people, they are looking for ways of genuinely improving your life. I would imagine it is the same with those that are made to govern us, leaders, in charge of our education systems, in charge of our different sectors. If we get leaders that are not genuine, then they need help. For us to genuinely tap on what we are inputting in the youth of our times, we need a very strong, emotionally strong youth. What am I talking about? A youth that can go through the difficult times that we are in and realize that adversity is the mother of invention. Right now, all you need to do is to move around and then you see the levels of unemployment. What do you do as a young person? You don't go to that place of despair, that suicidal place. No. You go to the research table. You go back to the drawing table. Start researching again. Start thinking of ways that you can come up with solutions, not just for yourself, but for the community around you. You may think that our problem is really jobs, but our problem is not really jobs. Allow me today to share with you that our problem as the youth is not jobs. Our problem is the conducive environment to come up with innovations. That is what we need. How do you innovate that environment? The peaceful environment. Because for you to innovate, you need that place of meditation. You need to tone down the noise. There is a lot of noise that is not good for meditation and innovation. There is a lot of noise in every facet around us. It is time for us to go back to that place of quietness, the stillness of the soul. Our souls are restless for many reasons. Our souls are restless maybe because of the politics of the land, maybe because of the vices of the moment, corruption, tribalism. Our souls are restless because of a lot of segregation, neglect. Our souls are restless. We need that place of stillness and quietness so that we can innovate, we can invent. So today, as we are talking about the strength of the youth, the strength of the youth stems from their soul. We need to innovate quietness, stability of the souls. This comes from gaining an identity. There is a lot of pride in the soul on the inside. When someone gains a sense of belonging, they know they have a country, they have a God, they have a family. That sense of belonging is that place of quietness, you know. When there is, holistic development, physically, they are able to access nutrition, proper nutrition. How many of our youth today feed correctly? I'm talking about correct feeding. I'm not talking about the food of the soul, I'll get there, but I'm talking about proper feeding. As they get out there to look for innovations, to invent, is there proper nutrition for our youth? Are we ensuring that their bodies are able to carry them through the journeys of life? Are these people going to be sick because of lack of proper nutrition when they get to midlife, when they live half a century? Are we going to reduce their lifespans? That is where to begin. Feed the youth. Once they are not hungry, then they can innovate. So if you're talking about the strength of a youth, start from the food table. Think of their nutrition. It is a good approach to ensure that the children in school are fed, that when they go to school, they have food, they have lunch, That in itself is a very good starting point. But don't neglect them when they get to university. Many of these people do not have clean water. Many of them don't have 3 meals a day. Very important. We see riots in secondary schools and in high schools, but we don't see riots amongst the youth when they are in tertiary level, because that is the place where they're beginning life. It is said that they are starting life. So they cannot riot to anybody, but they need proper nutrition. How is our nutritionist board in the country? Are we addressing the proper feeding of our youth? Are we feeding them with poison? Kenya Bureau of Standards and all these other bodies that are to ensure that the food that our youth are consuming is able to give them strength to be innovative. Very important. Let us go back to ensuring that we have food security to feed our youth. Physical strength is important. You cannot exercise on an empty stomach. Ensure that you feed correctly. So go to that place of innovation, just in case you're listening to me as the youth. Organic feeding. Feed properly. Don't neglect this advice. It is an advice that is full of wisdom. Ensure that you eat enough starch, enough proteins, enough vitamins, drink enough water. Tone down on addictions. Tone down on indulgences. Tone down on things that will deteriorate your health. Do not neglect it. When you see places where you are told don't indulge, just take it seriously. Take it in moderation. Indulgences and addictions are dangerous for the journey of your body. We need you 50 years from today, because you're carrying the knowledge of the country. Right now, there is a lot of capacity building for you. As you're moving, we need you. So that place of physical strength should not be neglected. Then move into the other sectors of your strength. Once you have finished with your strength of your body, move to that place of spiritual strength. gain some kind of spiritual guidance. Do not neglect that aspect. Humanity desires a strength that is beyond them. You will come to a place where you're powerless. But once you're strong on the inside, what happens when you get a heartbreak? When your relationship breaks or you lose a job? What happens when you come to your place that you've started a business and you find it has burnt down with fire? You know, there are times when your mother and your father can be powerless to help you. It takes your inner strength. This cannot come from any other place other than from the strength of the Spirit. I'm going for a break. I'm talking about youth and strength. See you after the break.